Bong! Hey guys, welcome back to the channel with more Fullmetal Alchemist Brotherhood. This is episode 22, or part 2, episode 9. And at the end of last episode, we had Ed and Al devising this plan to lure out Scar and use him as bait, or to risk their own lives, endanger their own lives, so that the homunculi will come out and save them, which seems like an overly risky plan, overly dangerous, since they weren't there to protect him last time Scar attacked. But they've enlisted Ling and Lan Fan to help as well as Roy and Riza. And yeah, Ling and Lan Fan were going to take out Gluttony, but Wrath joins him, and he was able to destroy Lan Fan's mask. I'm pretty sure he didn't kill her. They wouldn't have. I feel like they would have made it clearer that she's dead if he had indeed killed her at the end of the last episode. But they're in a world of trouble. Don't know how this is going to play out, and I'm very curious to how it will. So yeah, if you guys want to watch the full reaction, you can check out Patreon in the link in the description below. And without further ado, let's get started.
No, Latvan!
Clever.
Oh.
Can I eat her now?
Just make it quick.
No. Whoa.
Latvan, please stay with me.
He's carrying
Almost
somebody.
jumping around. He's trying to stay in my blind spot.
Oh.
Gluttony!
Damn.
Excellent. We should have some privacy in here. You might stand a fair chance of getting away if you'd only abandon the injured girl because she's just excess baggage at this point.
You would never.
Baggage? I can see all those stars on your uniform. You're the ruler here. A ruler's duty is to his people. Without them, he is no king at all. You're no true king. Not now or ever.
Naive boy. Don't you understand that there are no true kings in this world?
Ooh.
That ought to hold him.
I think. Oh. Run, keep running.
Nice try. But your flash bomb didn't succeed in blinding this eye.
Damn it. Throw another one.
Winry, we won't be away too long. You be a good little girl, okay? Take care of things while we're gone.
And she never saw them again. God, that's depressing. Who did they leave with? He was 29?
Watching Mr. Hughes leave that day was like the last time I saw Mom and Dad. Just their backs as they walked away.
I hear the Elrics are wreaking havoc.
What, again?
The MPs have been running around like crazy.
In
No.
another fight?
She's gonna go
Good grief.
find them.
Seems they're after that guy who's been killing off state alchemists.
Oh, she doesn't want the last time to see the back.
No, not again, please.
Scar, you're misguided. He just tears through it like it's nothing.
It's a dead end. Damn, what now?
Where's Al?
Nice one, brother. Appreciate it.
We need to get out of here now!
Permission to fire? Not yet.
You're using the name of your god to justify murder. When you killed Shao Tucker and Nina, I suppose you believe you were doing God's work then too!
Alchemy created that tragic creature. So that's the science you would spend your lives following?
Look at your brother! He's the result of messing around with somebody's life!
He turned it around
That
on him.
chimera was made because a man thought he could create when creation is the province of God alone. Foolish as you are, you must still have known that Chimera could never have returned to her human state.
He's right. Even then, we knew that Nina would be sent off to live in a laboratory. We knew full well what would happen to her.
We didn't want to think about it. We knew there was no hope.
So we did nothing.
Nothing.
Is he turning them around to his side? That'd be too insane. She found them. She found them. Ready
You're
to
so
meet.
self-righteous. But do you remember two Amestian doctors
She's gonna
named
find out
Rockbell?
this way.
Those doctors saved your life, and you killed them.
Brother!
What are you talking about, Ed? They helped save you. And you killed them. Give them back! Give me back my mom and dad, you monster!
Winry.
You can't. Don't do this.
Winry!
Don't do it!
He'll attack you if you do.
What you're doing is senseless revenge, and it's feeding a fruitless cycle of death. You must end this cycle once and for all.
Fullmetal Alchemist.
Jeez.
You have the right. Shooting me would be justified. This is no time to be looking at your notes!
Just a minute more, I'm almost
He doesn't
there.
have the tattoos yet. But he does.
What are those tattoos for?
My right arm deconstructs. My left arm reconstructs.
Oh.
I studied the alchemy they use in the East. Kill them before they can kill us.
Oh.
Take them down. With alchemy, we'll beat them at their own game. Pay them back in blood.
Do you see this, brother? This is the science that you would spend your life following. You may think it's for the greater good, that it could help our people. You don't even see the evil you're creating!
Jeez. And Roy. Ooh.
Oh no!
Was that the explosion guy? Or was that Roy?
Hold on a minute.
If anything happens to me, I don't want my research to have been for nothing. You're a lot more likely to survive this than I am. Just look. My legs won't stop shaking.
The
Is that
exploding
a
guy.
soldier?
Get back!
He counterbound. I thought he was gonna do some alchemy. He just stood in the frickin' way.
Stay with me. Don't you die.
Damn! I can't stop the bleeding! His arm! Where's my brother's arm? Where is it?
He gave up his own. He only gave him the one for destruction.
Don't die. I won't let you.
Brother. What happened?
Don't move or you'll open up your wounds. Come here. Dear, come here.
You aren't well enough to move around on your own yet.
Somebody,
Nah,
get a cart.
you
Take this man with
scar.
you. He needs help.
Brother's tattoos. What is going on here?
Say
it
lost
is.
it.
There aren't any more. We used them all up.
State alchemists, Amestrians, you will pay. All of you will pay.
Go on, shoot. Shoot, girl. But no, the moment you pull the trigger, there's no going back. You will be my enemy.
Scar!
If you think I'll let you hurt one hair on her head!
Will you kill me? That'd be fine with me. Until one of us dies, boy, this chain of hatred will continue. But don't ever forget it was the Amestrians who first pulled the trigger during the Civil War. It was your people! You're in my way!
Don't shoot!
Oh, he realizes who he's become.
I couldn't shoot.
I know you couldn't. And it's okay.
But that man, you said he's the one who killed my mom and dad. He tried to kill you and Al too, Ed. But I couldn't.
Remember in Rush Valley, you delivered that baby. You saved 2 lives. And you gave me an arm and a leg to replace the ones I've lost. It's your hands. They weren't meant to kill. They're meant to give life. That's why.
Oh, jeez. Those of you who like watching me cry will enjoy this episode. Will enjoy this reaction, won't you? Alright guys, so I think this might be the first episode of the series where I was just like actively like just crying, not just like tearing up or like welling up. I was like tears and like my eyes were glistening at the end, and like yeah, just choked up and crying. You guys can correct me if I'm wrong. I think that was the first episode of this series that made me go like that. And yeah, it started with Lanfan being attacked by Bradley, and apparently she like protected herself by using her kunai, which cracked his sword. Yeah, it was impressive, but her arm gets really cut up apparently. Gluttony goes to eat her, but like Ling finally get to see Ling in combat, cuts off his arms and the top part of his head like clean off like in one swipe. That's hard to do with like regular humans, whereas Gluttony is like twice, maybe 3 times the size of like normal humans. And I don't know if homunculi are like thicker in any way or like more dense, so I have to imagine like that was Ling used a lot of force in that strike. And then he holds off Bradley. I really wish we could have seen this fight like one-on-one between him and Bradley. No Lanfan to carry, no Gluttony to like smash him. Because yeah, he looked like he was holding up pretty well. Constantly jumping to the Bradley's blind side. Granted, yeah, Bradley hadn't taken off his eye patch yet, so that might have made it a little more even. But still, it's super impressive. Yeah, all along, I've kind of known that Ling is a strong fighter. I guess the opening also kind of shows him like facing off against Wrath, but to actually see him in action in the actual show, they were saving the reveal of like his combat abilities for like an awesome moment. Yeah, it was really cool. And then they talk about after Gluttony smashes him through a window into a building. They talk about like their conflicting ideologies. Ling, who believes it is the duty of a king to look after his people, versus Bradley, who believes there are no such thing as true kings. And is that a reflection of Father's anger towards the world, or is that Bradley himself? And can Bradley even be himself, since like homunculus are created? So like, does his feeling created? And I've also wondered, like, since it's the 7 sins that are homunculi, is it like a manifestation of Father's like different sins? So like, did Father see kings failing people and it drove him to take like drastic measures at some point, and that's why Wrath believes there are no true kings? It's possible. But then Al tries to talk to Scar to delay him so that Ling and Lanfan can catch a homunculi, but Scar kind of just winds up getting in their heads. They're so like easily surprised. Like, foolish as you are, you must still have known that the Chimera, like Nina, could never have returned to her human state. like didn't they knew that already. It would have lived out its life as a laboratory specimen. He's right. We knew she was going to be a lab specimen. We didn't do anything. Like they didn't confront that at all in their own time or anything. It's just interesting. It was a little comical for me, but it also spoke to how compelling Scar's argument is. Though I don't think abandoning alchemy altogether is the right way. I think that those scenes were set up to show that his point of view is can be understood and sympathized with, though clearly they're not going to agree with him. But yeah, like, I feel like the kids are a little too, I mean, they're kids. Ed and Al are a little too gullible. Yeah. it's an interesting situation. But Winry, she hears that she's originally at Hughes's grave, and she remembers, like, she doesn't want to see people die again. She doesn't want to see the last thing that she looked at was their backs, her mom and dad's back, Ed's back, and her parents never came back, and seeing Ed and Al constantly run into danger has hurt her so much. So she goes to look for them, which it's just such a bad idea. But like, because she can't do anything if she shows up, honestly. She has like no combat ability, and we're lucky that Scar doesn't seem like the type, but we're lucky he isn't the type that he would take her hostage to like just slaughter them. And then she, of course, Ed and Al should have told her from the beginning. They treated her the same way Roy and Armstrong treated them by not telling them about Hughes' death. Which, I mean, Winry had a double dose, because she first didn't find out about Hughes, and then they kept her parents' information from her as well. And she finds out the worst time, finding out about Scar killing her parents with a gun at her feet and Scar right in front of her. And yeah, Scar, with his master's words like ringing through his head about how violence only begets more violence, tells her that Winry has the right to kill him. Again, like, stating his own judgment as law, like his own judgment is what's driving him. He doesn't have a moral code that's decided by like society or anything, which is understandable. But it's more than like just justifying his own, like more than just saying that, oh, you have the right to kill me. He's actually justifying his own actions, because if she has a right to kill him, in his mind he feels like he has a right to continue killing as well. But yeah, I would say she chooses not to shoot him, or she can't bring herself to shoot him. So that and his master's words, maybe they can turn him around eventually. Like, if Winry doesn't want to kill him, that means that there's a way to stop this. And yeah, like, I'm also curious, like, if Winry doesn't want to kill him, like, what does she want from him? Does she want to see him just like disappear and never have to deal with him again? Does she want him to use his powers for good? Yeah, it'll be interesting to see how. I feel like that's not the end of their stories with each other. And then we see a flashback of Scar's We see the same guy who was locked up in episode 1 of the series, Sparky Boom Man. That's Avatar reference. But yeah, he attacks everybody, and Scar's brother actually stood in the way, but somehow came away like almost completely fine. He was like bleeding a little, but he found Scar with his arm blown off, and he gives his own life to save his brother, grafting his own arm onto Scar's. And I don't know what was going through his mind at that point. If he actually... I mean, I think all that was going on in his mind was that he wanted to save his brother. But did he know that his brother was going on... Actually, I'm curious, like, just why... I think the only thing going through his mind was, I need to save my brother. I don't think he gave thought to, he would be better fit for this fight against the Mestrians. I don't think he gave that any thought. I don't think he thought that Scar would try to get revenge or anything else. I just think, I need to save my brother, which... I mean, he grafted his own arm onto Scar's. I think things would have been so different if it was Scar's left arm that was destroyed and not his right. Like, he got the just deconstructing arm instead of the reconstructing arm. Though, I guess, like, if he took his reconstructing arm and gave it to Scar, he would have to use his reconstructing arm to give him this. So it wouldn't be possible. I don't know. I guess he could give Scar two right arms, like one on his... Yeah, never mind. Anyway, I mean, even if he got the reconstructing arm, though, for Scar, I feel like his ideology and rationale is already so screwed up that I'm sure he would have just found a way to use it for violence anyway. Yeah, and then we see how Scar got it in his head that alchemy is wrong. The Ishvalans were looking to his brother to help even the tides of war, and somehow he gets it in his mind that alchemy is evil. And, like, that's just such a... like, he see them with these evil, scheming faces, but they're trying to end the threat to their own people. Like, oh, man. Like, I sympathize with him, but, like, his rationale for everything is a little, like, very screwy, kind of. Winry's parents had nothing to do with extermination, and just because they had blue eyes, like the other Amestrians, they had to die. With Ed, surprisingly, it's actually a little bit more complicated, and, because Ed was, even though he was too young to have anything to do with the Ishvalan war, he chose to join the group that committed these heinous acts. Like, to the Ishvalans, state alchemists are, I'm sure, like, the equivalent of Nazis to Jewish people. I'm not entirely sure, but it's a close analogy. I feel like the same sentiment. There's the same kind of feeling that way. Now, it makes no sense to go after all German people, which is essentially what Scar does when he killed the Rock Bells. But if someone pledges themselves to the Nazis, it's a completely different story. Like, I guess Ed would be... I feel like Scar sees Ed as a Jewish person would see a German person signing up to be a Nazi, is the analogy I'm trying to get to. Like, even if Ed doesn't care about their ideology and is just using their resources, he's using the title of people who have committed genocide. So I get him. It's a little bit more nuanced when he's attacking Ed. Still, he's a kid. Ed is a kid. He's 15. He was younger when he started this journey too. But yeah, I understand Scar's justification for going after him is a little bit more understandable. At the same time, yeah, like, Ed isn't probably too informed about international politics, given his desperation first to bring his mother back to life and then to get Al's body back. I feel like, yeah, he just didn't have time to... He's just following orders whenever he gets them, but, like... Which, yeah, it's kind of like selling your soul. I wonder if that's why Izumi was so angry at Ed for going through, for joining the military in the first place. But yeah, I can also see, like, breadcrumbs in the show leading to Scar's rehabilitation, though. Like, his master's words rung in his head when he saw the violence almost create violence in, like, this innocent, loving young woman, Winry. And yeah, Winry didn't pull the trigger in that moment. In that moment, it didn't do anything. But in retrospect, maybe it shows him a different path. Especially with the way Ed jumped in front of Winry. Scar thought he was, like, Ed was attacking him, but, like, he just blocks her. tells her not to shoot and gets in his way so that he can't kill her kill her. And yeah, there's a wonderful shot of the explodey guy just fading in the same like pose as Scar, and that has to just like signify him realizing who he is in that moment. And then he sees Ed as his brother protecting him, and yeah, there are breadcrumbs all over the place. We also saw that his brother handed him research notes before explodey guy showed up, and it was by his bedside when he woke up. I'm assuming he still has them. I don't know if he ever read them, but there are notes in there about his destruction arm, but there are also notes about his reconstruction arm, or his brother's reconstruction arm. So everything is put in place for him to have a path to redemption. But it could also be a situation where, like, despite all the signs and chances he gets, he still chooses the wrong path. Kind of like a Zuko. He kind of has the same decision to make like a Zuko at the end of book 3, for people who know what I'm talking about. Hopefully I didn't give away too much for people who haven't watched Avatar: The Last Airbender, but that is required watching for anybody in our generation. But yeah, this episode was really powerful. Winry's pain, like, it did feel super dangerous and ill-advised for her to rush towards Ed and Al, but to get that scene of her eyes were like crazed, like just completely wide with like fear, anger, so many things, so many emotions going through her, and yeah, that was super emotional. I was crying along with her. I'm glad she didn't pull the trigger though, and yeah, Ed, I think the moment I started really bawling was when Ed told her that her hands weren't meant to hurt. They were meant to heal. She helped give birth to that kid. She healed, or she made automail for Ed. Does some repairs on Al sometimes too, and also has a job in Rush Valley, just fixing people up. And it was just that moment of like, oh yeah, your hands were made to give life, and that's so beautiful. I'm getting misty-eyed right now. But anyway, guys, hope you enjoyed this episode. It was wonderful. A blast to watch. I mean, not a blast. I mean, it was like super good. I wouldn't say, I guess a blast is not a good way to put it. But yeah, I really enjoyed it. And yeah, if you want to watch the full reaction, you can check out Patreon in the link in the description below. Next week's episode is up there if you're watching this on YouTube as well. And yeah, thanks for watching. Leave a like, really helps out this channel, and I'll see you guys next time.